Our History of AI series has looked at some of the most important games to have impacted the field, but in order to talk about some of the biggest AI innovations in modern day, we have to talk about one of the oldest games in human history.
After Deep Blue had won convincingly over the best human chess players in the world, many AI researchers asked themselves, what next? Are there any more interesting challenges in classical board games? Anything that's harder than chess and different than chess? And very soon many of them converged on Go.
Go is one of the oldest and most complex games to still be played in present day. Dating back 2,500 years, Go has held the same relevance amongst East Asian cultures as chess has in Western Europe. But its relevance has spread around the world, with tens of millions of players across the globe. A big reason for this is the challenge it presents players despite its relatively simple rules. This in turn made it a future challenge for artificial intelligence.
A game about pure thought, a game about understanding your opponent and planning far ahead. It's a very elegant board game that shares many properties with chess. However, there are also many differences. And some of these differences make Go much harder than chess for computers. One of these is the branching factor. How many different moves could you take at each turn? In chess, you on average have around 30 or 35 moves you could take. In Go, this is more like 300. This kind of difference is enough to make it non-competitive for many classical research algorithms. Another big difference is that in Go, it is very hard to tell who's in the lead. In chess, you can count pieces. In Go, this is much harder. Just counting the pieces is not going to give you any useful information. Together, these two differences make Go much harder for computer algorithms than chess is.
Of course, this all changed in March of 2016, with Google DeepMind's AlphaGo defeating Lee Sedol. AlphaGo is comprised of two distinct components, each with their own task to complete. The first is a relatively new search algorithm called Monte Carlo tree search. This approach was first discovered in 2007, and it allows AlphaGo to play the game from the current board configuration. Using this technique, it can determine how good the current board state is for the player. But the number of actions and their consequences is still too big for it to solve on its own.
The deep neural networks were originally trained on a large set of master-level games, and they were trained to take the moves that the winning players would take. Later on, they were further trained by playing against themselves. This combination of Monte Carlo tree search and deep neural networks turned out to be a winning one.
Playing against AlphaGo in a 5-game match, Sedol lost the series 1-4. This sent shockwaves around the world, with Sedol later retiring from professional play, acknowledging the rise of AI dominance in the game.
Everybody sat up and said, wow, we thought Go was one of the hardest things you could possibly do. And now suddenly you have a computer program that can play Go better than any human. Of course, the same thing applies as for Deep Blue. AlphaGo can play Go, but not really anything else. If you want to make it play another game, you have to reprogram it and retrain it.
It led to a heightened awareness of artificial intelligence research and development.
But still, the success of AlphaGo is credited with major changes in AI policy in China. It led the Chinese government more or less directly to increase its investment in AI research, and in that sense, AlphaGo has had more impact on artificial intelligence than many other experiments.
Developing autonomous players for the likes of Go is far from the end for games and AI research. If anything, it's only just the beginning, leading to ongoing research and innovation in a variety of video games that introduce a myriad of new challenges to explore. And if you stick around here at modl.ai, we might have a little more to say about that in the future.